This is really cool. I'm going to share with you a way to write powerful, powerful copy, even if you're a total novice copywriter. So this is a method that different folks have used, even when they weren't trained as copywriters, to generate incredibly powerful, persuasive messages. And you can use it whether you are an experienced pro or whether you are brand new to copywriting. And either way, it should help you really connect with your target market and get the results that you're looking for from your copywriting. So that's what we'll cover in today's episode.
These are the proven direct response marketing, copywriting, and entrepreneurship success strategies you can use today to write your own ticket and create the life you want. I am Roy Furr, and this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Now, here's today's breakthrough.
So going all the way back in the history of direct response, one of the most famous books of the origins of direct response is the Robert Collier letter book. And Robert Collier was a direct mail copywriter back like even before the Great Depression in the Roaring '20s and through the Great Depression. And he immortalized his direct response knowledge in the Robert Collier letter book. And one of the most famous quotes from that book is that, and I'm going to butcher the quote, but the idea is right, that you have to enter the conversation already taking place in your prospect's mind. You have to enter the conversation already taking place in your prospect's mind. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that you have to figure out what's going on in their head, and you speak to that conversation in a way that connects with them, that then you can lead that conversation wherever you want it to go. And so this is a lesson that I learned very early on. Actually, if you look at Gary Halbert, like one of the most famous copywriters of the recent modern era, so many of Gary's best techniques, so many of his go-to techniques actually came out of him discovering and reading and diving into the Robert Collier letter book. And so he, like the famous dollar bill letter, or, taping a penny to the top of the letter, those came straight out of Robert Collier. And, Gary became famous for those, and other people, Dan Kennedy's become famous for these grabbers. Those are straight out of the Robert Collier letter book. And so many techniques that are so effective even still today were invented over 100 years ago by these classic advertisers. Well, I'm getting a little bit off topic here. I'm going on a little bit of a tangent. What I want to bring this back around to is that whole idea of entering the conversation in your prospect's head. So as I was learning about that, and then eventually I got right when the Robert Collier book was republished by his family, I actually reached out and I connected with, I believe, his granddaughter, and I got a copy of it, and I was so excited to get it, and I went through it, and I got that, enter the conversation already going on in your prospect's mind, and it was a guiding principle for me from very early on as a copywriter. And as I turn this over and as I practice that idea, I realized that there's like this whole school of acting called method acting. And the whole idea behind method acting is you need to get into the character. So like Johnny Depp is famous for being a method actor. And so like when he plays, when he's in Pirates, like he becomes a pirate for the entire length of filming for the movie. Now, it may make him dreadful to be around as a person, because he's fully embodying that. I guess when he played Hunter S. Thompson in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, he just he goes off the deep end into these characters. And there are other actors that are equally invested in this technique of just fully embodying the character to the point that like you can't even treat them like their real identity while they are these characters in these movies and these shows. You have to treat them like the character. And I thought, getting in the conversation in your customer's head, it's kind of like method acting, except for, instead of being this character, what you have to do is, as much as possible, you have to set your own ego, set your own self aside. And you have to get into what your prospect is thinking and really try to capture and embody those feelings as much as possible around everything having to do with the problem that your product solves, the challenge that your product helps them overcome. And then I thought it would be really cool to write a book called Method Marketing. And then it turns out that somebody who I respect quite a bit already did. Denny Hatch. Now, this book is becoming a collector's item too, and I've seen it, various days. It sells for more or less on Amazon because it is out of print at this point. So, Method Marketing is called the subtitle is How to Make a Fortune by Getting Inside the Heads of Your Customers. And what I really love about this book, and Denny Hatch is kind of a historian of marketing, but doing modern history. So one of the things that Denny Hatch is famous for is the Who's Mailing What archive. And they basically got on all these mailing lists and they tracked all the different mailings that people were mailing. And so they're able to see what are these different companies testing? What turns into a control? What do they get multiple times over, etc. And so he really stays on top of all these different direct marketers and all these different industries. And so from that perspective, he looked and he said, what are some of the most interesting marketers out there, most interesting copywriters out there in terms of getting into the head of their prospects, their customers. And what I really love about this book, what I think is super awesome, is that he juxtaposes some of the best copywriters in modern history with people who had zero experience in copywriting. And he says, this person was hugely successful because they were a professional they were a great marketer who was able to get inside the head of their customers. And then in the next chapter, he says, this person was not a copywriter at all. They weren't a marketer at all. One of them, the one that always stuck with me the most from going through this book is a nurse from Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital. Her name was Carol Farkas, and she wrote a fundraising letter to support the work of the hospital. And it was effectively like a chain letter. But it worked, and it worked super well. And the hospital hated her for it because it felt weird to them for it to be like a chain letter to raise money for the hospital. But it worked incredibly well, and she was just a nurse pouring out her heart into this fundraising. And that is method marketing. That is and this is one of the most powerful techniques for copywriters, is to really put yourself into the head of your prospect, put yourself into the heart of your prospect, put yourself into the soul of your prospect, and say, what are they feeling right now? What are they thinking right now? What is going on in their mind, in their heart, and how can I connect with that on the deepest level? If they have a challenge that's unsolved and that's difficult for them, how can I really connect with that in a way that's incredibly I don't know, that's just human to human, right? And one of the best, just if you want to take that, so that's the principle, that's the strategy, that's your goal, is to get into the heart and mind of your prospect and speak to them from that place. But on more of a techniques-based level, how do you do that? Well, one of the most powerful techniques that I've come up with, and this is, fundamentally the promise of this video, one way to write powerful copy, or of this episode, one way to write powerful copy, even if you're a total novice copywriter, is to find a friend who is in the target market for your for your offer. A friend, a family member, somebody who you really respect and look up to and love, and somebody who you are connected to. And really don't write like a copywriter writing to an audience. Don't write like a copywriter writing to a prospect. Write like a friend writing to another friend. Write like a loved one writing to another loved one. And introduce this message that you have and go through the message that you have and try to connect with them on that level of being a friend, being a human, being a loved one. And introduce them to the message, take them through the entire persuasive message that you have, and make the offer, but make it from the perspective of, as your friend, this is what I feel is best for you. And I would really hesitate to not adamantly insist that you take advantage of this offer. In other words, I really do think that you need to take advantage of this offer because it will be in your best interests in a very big way. And when you write from that perspective of a friend writing to a friend, a loved one writing to a loved one, you're going to capture a lot of what goes on in this whole idea of method marketing, because it's about really thinking about what this person cares about, what this person believes, what this person wants, what this person's dreams, desires, destinies are, what their fears, frustrations, and failures are. It's about connecting with them on that level and showing them how what you have is a win-win. Like it's a win for them, it's a win for you, it's a win for everybody. And when you do that, your copy is much more compelling. Now, I will say that it is still powerful to have the right deep structure, like the underlying psychology of effective copywriting. And so while this is going to help you get the tone and feeling right, it's still helpful to have a template, have a framework to follow for effective copywriting. So for example, you could go through my high velocity copywriting course, and I'll include a link in the description, and you can go through that in the order that it's presented there and use that as the structure for your message while you're approaching the entire thing from this perspective, from this voice of, this is my heart speaking to your heart. This is my mind speaking to your mind. This is me caring about you as a human being and connecting with you on that level, and then guiding you towards an action that I believe is in your best interests. And the high velocity copywriting program, it's part of the BTMS Insiders library, which is like Netflix for copywriting and marketing training. So you pay one low monthly fee, you get instant streaming access to everything for as long as you remain a member. And there's over 100 hours of training, and high velocity copywriting is just scratching the surface there for copywriters, for marketers. So my name is Roy Furr. This has been your daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I'd love it if you'd leave a comment with this episode. Let me know on a scale of 1 to 10 how valuable you're finding it and why. What are your action items? What are your takeaways? What are you getting out of this? Also tap that like button before you go so you get more content like this delivered to you. And so the magical algorithms of the internet will share it with more people like you who find it valuable. You can certainly share it with folks directly, and subscribe before you go. You can subscribe here. You can also go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com, get my daily emails Monday through Friday, including these episodes and more exclusive content for email subscribers. Again, check the links in the description to high velocity copywriting and BTMS Insiders and Breakthrough Marketing Secrets and everything that you need. It's there for the taking. I'm Roy for Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I always aim for 10 out of 10 value. I hope that I've delivered here, and I will catch you again in the next episode. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.